Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup Roundup 2019 Team South Korea preview. So we are finally here, the final team to take a look at before this year's World Cup, and who else but the team at the top of our rankings and 3-time winners of the competition, South Korea. What is there to say about South Korea that has not already been said? They have a ridiculous amount of talent. So much that I believe they could field 3 or 4 rosters and lock out the top 3 to 4 spots in the World Cup with the amount of talent this country has. Luckily, that is against the rules, so competition for places in South Korea is very, very high, with big names continuously left out of the squad over the years. Not that this has really had any detrimental effect on them. In terms of their history, you should all know it unless you are new to Overwatch. They have won the World Cup every time in 2016, 17 and 18, but there have been some sticky situations they've had to overcome on their way to this dominance. In 2017, they were taken all the way to 6 maps in the quarterfinal by Team USA, eventually winning 4-2 in what would be their most difficult match of the tournament. In 2018, the stumbling block this time was the semi-final, when they played the United Kingdom, who were one of the surprise packages last year. The UK managed to get 2 draws on Kings Row and Volskaya Industries against the reigning champions, but would end up losing 2-0 in the end. South Korea would end up beating China 4-0 in the final to seal their 3rd title in a row. On to the organisation this year for Team South Korea, and in fact it is one of the smallest organisations in the entire competition, with a lot of other teams expanding to bring themselves more in line with the backroom staff numbers that you would see in the Overwatch League. South Korea's general manager is Yongbong Tang, returning from last year. Their community lead is Lime, who replaces the outgoing JNATHYN, who has had a lot on her plate recently with Runaway this year, considering Runner's absence. There is a new head coach for Team South Korea this year, as out goes former NYXL head coach and current London Spitfire coach Pavane, and in comes Krusty, the enormously successful head coach of the Overwatch League 2019 champions, the San Francisco Shock. Krusty has had nothing but success in the Overwatch League, initially with Underdogs Boston Uprising in the inaugural season, and now at the Shock, where he took his success one step further by coaching the team to the Overwatch League trophy. He will make his first coaching appearance for South Korea at this World Cup. He will be assisted by 9K, who is the only addition to the coaching staff this year. He has been alongside Krusty all season long at the Shock, but in the last month has sealed a role as assistant coach at the Paris Eternal, who are making some big movements in the Overwatch League off-season. Look out for them next year. On to the roster then, and as ever there are some shake-ups for Team South Korea this year. For the last of our previews we will start off with the supports, and we see some big changes already. Out go Animo and 2018 Overwatch League MVP JNATHYN, and in come IDK of the Hangzhou Spark and BDOSIN of the London Spitfire. These picks came as a bit of a surprise to me actually. IDK has undoubtedly had a very good season for the Hangzhou Spark, and he's also saw a lot of success with Lucky Future Zenith in Contenders China before he joined the newly created Hangzhou Spark at the end of 2018. BDOSIN though is an interesting one. He has an undoubted quality, having been incredibly successful with Cloud9 Kongdu before joining the London Spitfire before the inaugural season, where he would of course go on to win the league that year. But this year London came up short, quite short actually, so much so that most of that London roster have now been moved on. Is BDOSIN really a better pick over some of the other options such as JNATHYN of the New York Excelsior or Twilight of the Vancouver Titans? What does work in BDOSIN's favour is his incredibly diverse hero pool. He can play very well on all the heroes in the support category apart from Mercy, but is best known for his Zenyatta. He can also run the Roadhog and Tracer, but I would not expect this one to come into play for him, as this will be the first World Cup where we will be seeing Roll-Lock implemented. On to the tanks then, and again we see wholesale changes this year. Out go Fate and Fury, and in come Choi Hyobin and Mano. Choi Hyobin has had a massive season for the San Francisco Shock this year, in that off-tank role. He really did have a case for the regular season Overwatch League MVP award, but he did get his hands on the Grand Finals MVP award for his fine performances on the Sigma, which will come in very handy at this World Cup I am sure. He can also play the Diva and the Roadhog to a very high standard. Definitely my standout player for this South Korean squad this year. Mano returns to the South Korean lineup this year for the first time since 2017, missing out in 2018. It's been yet another good season for him at the NYXL, although the Overwatch League title still eludes them. I would expect him to be a cool head that this team needs during the matches though. Lastly, we have the DPS then, and this is where we see an enormous pool of talent that South Korea could have picked from. I can quote names like Prophet, Fleta, Libero, Sabiobi, Sparkle, Hisu, Erster, Nene, don't worry, he wouldn't be on the Zarya, Ding, Stitch, I could go on, but all of these names will be missing out on a spot for Team South Korea this year. The 3 DPS places this year are taken by Carpe, Architect, and Haxel. Haxel is the Overwatch League Rookie of the Year, and was the standout DPS player for the Vancouver Titans this year as they came second only to the San Francisco Shock. Haxel has had a stellar career not only with the Vancouver Titans but also Runaway before this, and is a very, very good projectile player, and I would expect him to be playing a lot of the Pharah, Doomfist, and maybe even the Genji if allowed for South Korea this year. Architect is the only DPS player in the squad who can boast of an Overwatch League Winners Medal, as he featured heavily for the San Francisco Shock during the latter half of the league this year, as the GOATS meta was phased out. He's a very flexible player who has had success on hitscan and projectile, but I would expect him to be playing mostly hitscan for South Korea, and then flexing to projectile when needed. Lastly, we have Carpe, and this is the one pick which I'm a bit dubious about. Carpe is without doubt a hitscan specialist who is known for his incredible plays on Widowmaker and McCree during the inaugural Overwatch League season for the Philadelphia Fusion. But this year, the Fusion struggled, and Carpe was not able to adjust to what the meta was asking of him when hitscan was less effective. My question is Carpe a better pick for South Korea over someone like Stitch, Sabiobi, or Striker? I don't know. Their hero pools are slightly bigger than that of Carpe, but they are also very good on the Widowmaker, Tracer and McCree, so potentially would offer a few more options for them. But who am I to question the 3-time world champions, huh? Also, I would not expect hitscan to feature too much during this World Cup due to the ongoing meta right now. So, that is it for Team South Korea, then, our last team in this batch of previews ahead of the Overwatch World Cup 2019. The question you're all probably asking is, can South Korea be beaten? My honest opinion is yes. Yes, they can. We have seen a more varied and mixed nationality roster win the Overwatch League this year, and we have seen other countries such as the USA, China, and maybe even the likes of the UK and France get better since last year. There have also been some scares in the past for Team South Korea, as I outlined at the start of this video. The main thing to say is that they are not gods. They are not unbeatable. And all it takes is one team to go into a match not afraid of them and catch them off guard for this World Cup to be turned on its head. And I really think it can happen this year. But I did say that last year and look what happens. So, who knows? Just before I round out this video though, I would like to give a massive thank you to all of the people who have supported this preview series of the Overwatch World Cup. I never expected these videos to do so well, and all your really kind comments and likes are massively appreciated, so thank you for that. And I will endeavour to continue to make great content in the future. Talking of the future, I am not sure how the content will be going up around Blizzcon and the World Cup. There will be definitely a roundup after the World Cup games have taken place, but I would also like to get a video out every day reviewing the fixtures from each day. But I don't know whether that's going to be possible right now due to timings. So make sure you are subscribed with notifications if you don't want to miss out on any content during BlizzCon. Also, there is obviously the big rumours surrounding Overwatch 2. We will go through everything announced at BlizzCon, whatever that may be, and talk about how it will impact the game after that announcement comes, if it comes. A lot of ifs and buts. We'll see. But, for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.